hold on, real quick. Listen, this is the Gray Area Podcast.
Let's
Let's go.
go.
Yes. Contrary to popular belief, life is not lived in the black and white. We often live and deal with issues in the gray area. So yeah, we back. We back again. Very special guest indeed. Everybody, let's welcome Onaje Jordan to the gray area. Appreciate you popping out, my man.
Peace, everybody. Good looking on this.
My guy,
Listen,
salute.
Cheers,
absolutely. So yeah, let me introduce myself. MOD, Mugs on Drugs. I'm one of the 3-man panel on Gray Area. And yeah, man, we just here to have good conversation and give producers a platform to really, broadcast their talents and promote themselves, and then just give the world and fans who don't know and would be fans who are going to be fans, a little chance to get to know you better. But I'm on Mugs on Drugs, and yeah, let's run down the panel real quick. Who else we got?
DeFi Dame, let's go. Tay Dane, you already know what it is. Salute.
You already know.
Team 5, Sean in the house.
Yes, sir. All right, so yeah, Onaje, I got a couple questions, bro. Just a couple intro questions. A little background on you, man. Where you from?
From Chicago, Southside Chicago, Illinois.
Oh, okay. See, I wasn't even aware of that,
In
man.
the building, let's go.
That's dope. So, can you give me tell me a little bit about what it's like to grow up out there and, some of your influences while growing up?
It's wild, man. Chicago known as being wild, man. Been wild for a while, though,
Absolutely.
But, it's like anything else, any place else, man. It's home, man, and nurtured my love for, especially this hip-hop, man. Hip-hop music, this hip-hop culture overall, We was out there tagging and b-boying and DJing and MCing and, you know what I'm saying? That fostered the love for what I'm doing today. But my influences, man, you mean just for Chicago, just overall the sound of what I do?
Well, listen, just any type of influence, we'll narrow it down. But as for right now, any type of influence that might have, guided you on the specific path that you took to reach where you are and to, develop the sound that you have.
It was definitely two people from the Chicago, man. One was No ID, Dion Muhammad.
Okay.
And the other guy was Bugs the Beast, man. They were big mentors of me coming up in this game in the early 2010, 2002, 2003. And I'm kind of old school, man. I've been doing beats since like 96,
That's dope, man.
So, yeah, those two definitely influenced me when I'm doing it to this day.
These two are producers or are they artists?
We're producer, man. So like No ID, people don't know he did like Common early albums, and he did stuff with Jay-Z and Rockefeller and 50 Cent and them cats like that. So he been in the game a minute in terms of like major. And Bugs did stuff for like Jermaine Dupri on the R&B side a little bit, but he did some rap too. He's been working with Kanye and I've done albums and stuff like that. They've been dropping lately. So
that's dope.
They really, they like some known cats, and they put some, mentor me a little bit on this road to success I'm trying to get to,
Right. Nah, I hear that. So coming up, becoming a producer during pretty much what's considered the golden era. Can you explain to me, like, how you got into, like, who put you on? Was it something that you just knew you wanted to do, or did somebody kind of give you an example and segue you into the production side of things?
Well, I think I really knew, I wanted to be an MC, but it didn't work out. But I always wanted to, I was like behind the scenes, I played saxophone when I was a kid, Grandma had bought me a saxophone when I was a kid. Only reason why I gave up, because I had to play football in high school and college. You couldn't do both, right?
Right, no, I hear that.
My family, my grandmother played sax, dad played sax, poetry, my mom poetry. So it was like a musical influence background I had coming up in Chicago, man. So when I first heard hip hop, man, I remember the first song I ever heard, man, was "I'm a Hoe" by Houdini. My little cousin down south brung it. I shook my world when I heard that, man. I've been hooked ever since.
Wow.
I was noticing how they use old cuts, you know what I'm saying, from back in the day. Like I heard my mom would be playing on Saturday morning while she cleaned it up and stuff like that. But that really got me interested in seeing, the sounds they were using to create this thing that I love, growing to love and stuff like that and cherish,
Right. Absolutely. That's excellent. Let me ask you this. What was your first beat machine? Like, did it start with a beat machine or something? Like elaborate on that.
Yeah. So my first one I ever bought, man, when I was in college, me and my guy, we had got that money. I don't know, people familiar back in the day, they used to be in college, man. The credit card companies and give you a credit card for $2,000, man. You
Facts.
think you hit the lotto.
Mm.
Not knowing we had to pay that money back with interest, but we both got credit cards. We maxed it out. Went to this place called Guitar Center, man, in the
Gotcha.
suburb of Chicago. I don't know too many people familiar with that, like that in Sam Ash, where you get your equipment from back in the day. We bought like Tascam 8-track board. I bought an
Mm.
MPC 2000, right?
Okay.
And
Wow.
we just was just going off that. Took a couple years to really get what we was trying to do, man. But that was the foundation, MPC 2000.
That's crazy. Sean, you got anything to chip in on that? Because I know you
Yeah,
know a whole lot about that, man.
my ears just perked up when you mentioned the Tascam, man. I actually that was, from before everything was so easily accessible. That was, I think, where I got a lot of my initial chops from, was just hooking up gear to the Tascam. I had the 4-track, the
Oh,
424 Porta Studio, and man, that thing was,
hmm
you learned some lessons the hard way on that thing, man, because you only have 4 tracks, so it's like, you lay down your drums, you got a sampler or keyboard or whatever, like those 4 tracks go quick, so you end up,
right.
having to bounce things to, I'm going to take these 3 tracks and I'm going to bounce them to the 1 track, and then I can record over those three. You know what I mean? So it's like,
Right.
it's a different, I don't take it for granted how easy it is to do some stuff now. Like,
Oh
when you
man,
come from,
Pro Tools and Reason makes stuff so simple it's ridiculous, right?
yeah, it's crazy, man. I actually, we were talking about this last episode. I moved back and forth, the past 2 years. I moved to Texas and then moved back to New York. And in my move, when I got to Texas, the moving company jacked my Tascam. I bought that
Mm.
thing for, I don't know, $450 back when, like you said, late '90s, like '97, '98, and those
Yeah.
things go for. I was like, oh man, because I still have tapes, like a lot of old demos and stuff. And yeah, to get your hands on one of those now, it costs you like, upwards of $2,000, $3,000, because they're collector's
That's
items
Damn.
crazy.
now. Yeah, yeah, it's crazy.
Wow.
That one hurts, man. I was like, I'm never gonna get that thing back.
Yeah, I hear you, brother. I hear you.
So, Onaje, let me ask you, man, what was the first, like, who was the first artist that you collabed with and you guys came together and made like a full project?
This guy named Columbo from Chicago. This way back in like 2005.
Mm.
Um, I don't know the name. I forgot the name of the album. I know he got a. This is back when everybody in Chicago was getting deals, so he had a deal with Epic Street Records, man. Before that, he didn't want to do like a little underground album and stuff like that. I guess to promote his stuff, getting signed and stuff. So
Right.
we did like a 12-track album, and that's not like was like my really first time, like I want to say like in the studio with a rapper MC and just creating something.
Nah, yeah, definitely. That's dope, bro. So let me ask you this, man. I know you have a crazy working relationship with Killy Shoot. How did that come about? Shout out to Killy Shoot, by the way. That's my guy.
Word. So we in the group called Home Team Empire, of course.
Okay, I didn't
So
see. I wasn't aware of that. Wasn't aware of that.
yeah, we in the group, man. So it's nothing but like we family. Been working since like 2018, man. Just how everything is used now, technology, man. We was sending beats and forth back and forth and songs and stuff like that. We just clicked up with, me, him, Chuck Chan, General Back Pain, Lupus,
Mm-hmm.
Zay, um, Deuce Hennessy, and Prophecy. We all hooked up to become a crew. We all over I'm from Chicago, Philly
Right.
from Massachusetts, Back Pain for Cali. Chan and Lupus from the East Coast, and Prophecy from Toronto.
Oh
So we
wow.
just linked up, you know what I'm saying? So all the moves we make, it's like because we family already,
I hear
you
that.
know? So
I
this
hear
this
that.
how that is, we close already.
Nah, that's dope, man. Shout out to Killy once again. You know what I will say? Killy Shoot has a very old school kind of flow and delivery. Do you think that you're kind of certain because your beats kind of fit a very specific era? Do you feel like your compositions go hand in hand with how he kind of kicks it, kind of old school flavor type?
Yeah, we like hand in glove, man. You know,
Right.
that's why we got great chemistry. We had, 2 albums already, Heavy Math and Knowledge Born that we released last year.
Hmm.
So we got crazy chemistry, man. It's just like, we lock in the chamber when we together, man. You know what I'm saying? And so it's just like you said, the old school type of rhyme style, and I like the boom bap, trying to old school type of era producer, man. So we just mission matched it, perfectly, man.
Nah, for real. I really like the dynamic that y'all present. I was checking out some of your work. Alpha in the Room, the album. Is that like a home team album now that I think about it?
It's home team, so it's like a producer album, right? So it's me with some beats on there and Tone Beats.
Right.
Um, Producer from Carolinas, right? So that's how it is. I think it's like I got 5 tracks, he got 5 tracks, and we just linked up and dropped the project with our beats on there.
Nah, that was fire. I was listening to a couple joints off of that. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah,
Most definitely. So, are you working on anything new? I'm assuming that since you got a lot of artists to work with and a lot of different producers that you chop it up with, I'm assuming that you continuously working on things.
yeah. I'm in the lab like every day, creating, and then got me and Kina come got something dropping again. New Villain, Killy got
Okay,
something dropping this year. GBP, I'm doing stuff with G Fam, um,
got you.
Substance Man. So yeah, I'm continuously working, man.
Staying busy, bro. I can appreciate that, man.
Yeah,
Let's
Real
go.
talk.
The quality
I
is definitely
also
there, man.
Yo, nah, it truly
good
is, man.
looking.
It truly is. I also stumbled across the album that you have with Dante. Is that how you pronounce his name?
Yeah, Dante.
Yo, man, that African Medallions album is bananas, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro.
Good looking.
Bananas. Like, yo, 98 Dame Grease, fire.
Yeah, he
Fire.
did his thing. Me and Dante been working for a while, man. So we had to link up on the quick EP, before the year was out. That's how that came about, man. But we always working too,
Nah, listen, I can appreciate that, bro. I really can,
Let
man.
me throw a question in
Um,
there because I remember
yeah,
since
absolutely.
the jazz, man, you hit me with the playing the sax. So where do you see jazz and hip hop intersecting? Like, how do you like to kind of overlay that in your music and in your beats?
Well, that's what I grew up on. I grew up. I was in high school when Digable Planets came out. Tribe, They Lie.
Right,
I guess you could say that was like jazz hip hop back then, gang style, but
right.
Premier and stuff like that. So I'm just an extension of it, just bringing, I just like going with the influences I had growing up and just put my own spin to it so the new generation get a hold of it, That's all I'm doing.
Yeah, salute to you,
Yeah,
man.
man.
Jazz one of my favorite joints. Let's go.
No doubt.
Yeah, I just wanted to add when you mentioned gangsta, I was actually just listening to I think it was Hard to Earn that has It's a Jazz thing on it. And man, that was
Yeah,
it's funny, like I've listened to that album so much over the years that I don't it's hard to hear it like for the first time, but I do remember when I first heard that and then I went I mean this is pre-internet, but I remember at the school library looking up some of the names that Guru was dropping on that. It's cool, man. I appreciate it now because it's like there was no, they weren't even bringing up those artists in like music class and stuff. But yeah, that was a really important song.
yeah, and that's how legends live on, man, through the music, man. So like, you just, when you was a kid, you just learned something about some jazz music, right? That because like Guru was referencing his rhymes and stuff like that, right? Same thing like we with stuff we sample, like we sample Bobby Humphrey or Herbie Hancock, stuff like that, man. That make people think about that era of music too. And they may go back and research it. Get another
Yeah,
thing, That's what's so dope about music, man, and hip hop, and this particular hip hop music in particular,
yeah, yeah. It is cool that you could tell with that song they were just very much we're gonna like this is our purpose for this song. We're gonna like break it down almost like a lesson. It's really
Yeah, no doubt.
informative.
Speaking on that, I got a question for everybody on the panel. Okay, how? Let's start with you, Onaje. How do you feel about drill music? Number one, let's start. It's a two-part question.
Well, like Chicago really started it right with Chief Keef and stuff like that, man. So
Absolutely.
I witnessed all this stuff as it come up, man. It's kind of crazy, man. 'Cause I'm understanding youth got to express themselves, man, but it's like so violent.
Right.
I mean, music I came up to listen was violent too. I ain't gonna front. I listen to NWA and stuff like that, Ghetto Boys. but this is different. I don't know, it just feels different. And I'm just going by just like the messages they putting out with their music. I ain't going about the skill level, but
Right,
that's not really me, So
right.
I don't like it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I understand that youth expressing themselves, man, but really, that's not my type of music. I'm not gonna listen to a Chief Keef or Dirk, and even gone from Chicago. I'm not gonna listen to them cats.
Right.
That's not
No,
my type of
listen.
vibe. I listen to
Right,
some old school Common or something like that, EPMD, Big Daddy Kane, stuff like that.
right.
I respect it, man. I respect it. So let me ask you guys this. It started in Chicago. It became massively popular in Chicago. Do you think it was only a matter of time before it migrated to New York and other places? Or what do you think? Like it obviously did, but it might not have.
We talking about what, drill music?
We're talking about drill music.
I think, yeah, okay, so yeah, the youth has drill music, right? We've had our times. We had that essence of gangster rap, right? Horror rap, all these types
Right.
of different, pieces of the essence where, we had our moments of talking that crazy, right? So for them, this kind of manifestation of what they're going through, and this is their version of expressing it. But I don't know. You can't say that that was only a feeling in Chicago. That's why I won't blame on Chicago. I feel like in Colombia, Mexico, you got certain rap that was just crazy. It was about the life. You got people in Italy rapping what they
Right.
going through about their mob life in Tokyo, and
Right.
right. So it's like maybe the sound, that specific sound, and that demographic. Okay, it was this, but it's like that's everywhere. That's like my man Andre's point is like, yo, what are you talking about, right? I think some of it is the
Right.
content, some of it is the way they're expressing the street. Because a lot of times, if you go back in histories of the history of rap, yeah, they're talking about the street culture, but it wasn't like a glorification. That was a full on glorification of we selling drugs, we taking drugs, we, you know what I
Right.
mean? It's not me trying to orate what's going on around me. It's more like I'm trying to sell you this. So it's like it sounds like
Right.
drill now, but it's like it might have sounded a different way, or it'll definitely sound a different way down the line when they do other flips. So I think at a production scale, everybody's making a drill because it's the high end sound right now. That's what everybody want to make.
I hear that. Okay, so let me say this. I think my opinion. I think there's something to be said about the drill producers because you guys were just talking about how you could take a sample from a totally different genre of music and flip it into some crazy hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Something that we could really appreciate. I hear a lot of these new drill songs, and they're going back to songs from like the early 2000s, and they're sampling them and they're flipping these beats. And I'm not gonna lie, some of these beats are crazy. You know what I'm saying? How do you guys weigh in on that?
Oh,
That you got kids who don't traditionally, you know what I'm saying? They
Oh,
might
no
not
doubt.
traditionally listen to this stuff. That they reaching back to the Wayne Wonder sample, and
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Can you guys appreciate as producers? I know all three of you are producers. As producers, can you guys appreciate that?
Yo, I definitely can, bro, man. That's the essence of hip hop production.
Right, right.
So yeah, that's definitely like love in terms of what they doing. Like I say, they putting their own spin to it. As being youngsters in this industry in this game, man. So yeah, I definitely appreciate that.
Yeah,
Got you.
the one thing that I think really stands out to me is I've never been a Fruity Loops FL Studio user. I mean, I have watched people use it and I've seen people create on it, but yeah, I think kind of right when all that drill stuff was really blowing up, it kind of happened right as FL Studio, and even back then it was still called Fruity Loops. I'll probably get the years wrong, but um,
Hmm.
that late like 2000s. That's I think like you get Fruity Loops, and then you have your preset drum sounds, and it just kind of becomes stamped into like this is what this generation likes, and I'm not going to say it's necessarily easy or difficult to however you want to put it, but it's a different process in that you can open up FL Studio and get a trap beat going in seconds. With a lot of that genre, it's a lot of the same hi-hat sounds, same kick drums, same snares. And
Right.
when it comes to sampling, same thing. Like those that software is really you can get busy real quick. So if somebody says, "Oh, I like this," whatever sound I remember from when I was a little kid, load it in there, chop it up, add some hi-hats, and like you're off and running.
A little bit
So
of wobbly bass and you got a hit.
yeah,
Nah, I hear
yeah.
you. But nah, yeah, personally, I can appreciate the fact that listen, they don't have to. You know, they could be creating something totally different or just sampling something new So I remember I forgot who, but I heard a specific sample, and I was like, you know what, man, that's pretty creative. You know, I can appreciate that.
Yeah, it's definitely it's one of those things like a hit is a hit. So I was actually going to ask this question when it comes to making a track. Do you ever feel like this is already too perfect or it's too popular? Or I think like that's one thing that's changing with the generation that came up with the internet is
Mm,
there aren't things that are like too sacred. Like I'm not, you know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna step on like a James Brown sample that everybody's heard a million times. It's just like,
right,
somebody much younger, they just hear some pop song from the 90s or early 2000s and they're like, "Yo, this is dope. I'm just gonna use it." And like
right.
they don't have to operate by those same rules, even though they're not unspoken rules. If that makes any sense.
Yeah,
No,
it's
yeah,
kind of like
definitely.
baseball, man. You got like the unwritten rules.
Right,
The
right.
young cats know, like, what are you? The young cats like, what are you talking about? I want to do this. I could do that. So I just think it's each generation just being different, man. But like saying, I think we part of the same generation, me and you, in terms of how we came up and you had rules. You didn't share your samples. I still
Mm,
black out my records out when I get them.
word
Yeah,
So
up.
nobody know where I got the sample from. So I mean, cats now. I think if I hang around younger cats that are in this game, man, they don't do nothing like that. They don't even think about it.
yeah,
They
yeah.
share
It doesn't.
samples in a minute.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't come up at all.
It's dope to just have both of you guys in here, man, and like I'm just a fly on the wall at this moment, just listening and trying
Right.
to pick up game. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you guys were very present in what's considered the golden era. You know what I'm saying? Like when I read your name on Instagram, Onaje Jordan, aka the '96 Havoc, like it absolutely takes you to a place where it's like, yo, his music, you've captured that sound. Let me ask you this:
Right.
how long did it take you to? I know you always sharpening, steel always sharpens itself. You know what I'm saying? Still sharpens steel, but how long did it take you to really hone in and feel comfortable with presenting beats to artists and stuff like that?
Man, good 5 years.
Mm,
You know, a good 5 years I had the confidence. Start playing around other people.
right,
Other than my dog that's in the basement with me. So yeah, man, it takes time to hone. To me, took time for me to hone that craft and get the style that I want or learn how to perfect my vision as a music game. You know.
right, right. Let me ask you this: how do you feel as a producer? The internet has helped you, not just you, but music production producers being able to you could get a beat to somebody in Portugal. You know what I'm saying? In the '90s, that just wasn't feasible.
Yeah, it's more universal now. Like
Right,
saying we all connected now. Like I talk to people from South Africa.
right.
You get what I'm saying? So it's like I said, 97, that wouldn't be possible. You know, I'm sitting in my house, he's sitting in the house, we're using Wi-Fi. So yeah, and it's the technology changed the game. Internet, man, some good, some bad. Like the record
Right.
sales has gone down, so streams, you don't get that much money from streams like you did if you were selling records back in the day. But now, everything more universal. You get more connection with your fans. With your Bandcamp, your personal web page,
Yeah, yeah.
your Twitter, Instagram. People like to follow you when you're interested type of person. You get a lot of notoriety, and get your fan game up, and so
Most
so it's,
definitely.
it's a beautiful thing. It's good and bad into it though.
Right, because it's almost like, you're accessible to the people who you want to be around, but then the people who you don't want to be around, you also accessible to them too.
Word.
I
Shut
understand that.
off with that, right?
Right, right. It's a gift and a curse at the same time.
Word.
But listen, life is short, so if you got a craft and or you an artist or you know what I'm saying, you got something you can offer the world, you might as well put that on a platform. And that's why we here, man.
Yeah.
That's why we here, man. Let me ask you, you smoke, bro?
Yeah.
What okay, and you know what I say, you've been around for eras of bud. I feel like I've been around for eras of bud so far, but y'all two really been around for eras of bud. What is your favorite strain of all time?
Oh man.
That's a crazy question. I know, I
Yeah.
know.
I don't know, cause switches up so much, man. I like any indica, So
Okay.
I remember just all been Kush OG for me.
That Cali.
Yeah. Always
Yup.
been that, man.
Yup. Nah, yeah, I can see that. I can see that. Cali, shout out to Cali, man. They know they got the
Indica
best out there.
dominant.
You know what I'm saying? Indica dominant type shit. Yeah, for me, you know what? I like indica too, bro. I like indica too. I found out recently. So, okay, let me ask you this before I say anything. I'm gonna ask everybody this right now. How many people think sour diesel is an indica?
Not
Oh
me.
man, that's a good question. We brought this up on the last show, and that was the reason. When you asked me that last week, I said, I think I think I said like 2006 sour diesel or something. But that honestly was the for me that was the like the introduction to even being aware of strains. Like
Right.
I joke with my friends, back in the day, it was just weed. It was either good
Right.
or not. Like, you know what I mean? It was just dirt weed.
Right.
Like it's you don't. That's the other thing. Like this generation, you don't smell dirt weed anymore. You don't see it. You don't. It's just not
Nope.
That shit
around.
is
But
gone. That shit is gone.
the
There's a couple people I know who I could get some regs from right now, but
yeah, it's a
that's
very
crazy.
definitive smell. So I remember like when the sour diesel came, I was just like, yo, what is this? It was like a different
So
thing altogether.
right now, it's crazy. It's crazy. It really is. So okay, my whole smoking career, I would smoke sour and I would get fucked up, bro. I get smacked, right? So I'm thinking this shit is a heavy-handed indica.
Nah.
I come to find out maybe last year, sour diesel is a sativa, bro.
Yeah.
So then maybe it was just having a different effect on me. I don't know. But I was truly surprised by that. I always felt it very heavy handed, kind of couch lock weed. But I guess other people feel differently,
Nah,
Oh,
you know?
wait.
I never felt relaxed on that.
Really?
Mm-mm.
Wow.
No, that always smacked me and had me in like
Yo,
high
DeFi, you
high
feel the
alert.
same way?
That's a fact. What you said? What you said?
Is sour a downer or a upper
It's
for you?
counter for me. I'm in the couch all day. That's why I
It's
thought it was
yeah,
in the
that's
too. I feel like
crazy.
everybody do.
Nah, that's the
Nah,
upper,
but
man. I'll be creating with that on. I won't be sleeping nothing.
yo, that's
I
hilarious,
can't even
man.
do it anymore though,
Nah, yeah.
I need indica, man. I want to be knocked out.
I hear that. That couch lock, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Thinking
For
about life,
real. Yeah, nah.
Agreed.
You do get reflective. You do get reflective. I'm not gonna lie about
Right, you
that.
think about the wonders of the world, man, and all this stuff like that, man. It be wild, it be wild,
All right. So what's your preferred medium? Like blunts, fucking bongs, joints?
Yeah, I do the joints, man, the hemp cones, man. I had done a blunt for a good 10 years.
Yeah, gotta lay off of those these days, man. We
Yeah,
all getting older,
tobacco,
man.
man. I just straight, then you can taste it. All of it. It's all natural as hemp. It burns slow.
Mm,
It's efficient,
The
it's
hemp
a
roll up.
the smoke. Yeah, the hemp. I get the cones usually, from the raw.
right, and just pack them yourself type
Packing
shit.
myself, get like, go to dispensary, get like an ounce,
I'll try
man.
that. I gotta
Just
try those.
Woo!
enjoy your life,
I hear that. Yo, let me ask you this. How much is an ounce at the dispensary out there?
Man, with tax stuff, man, good stuff, maybe like 250 to 300.
Okay. All right. That's about, for
For
some
some
fire,
fire,
for
yeah.
some top shelf,
Yeah, that'd be top shelf though. It'd be like, yeah,
that's about what it would be out here.
New
That
York,
seems
they got the
about
man.
bullshit for 100. They got that's really what it is now. It's not green no more, but you'll get some real mids. You know,
Yo, it's
Yeah.
everything is
crazy,
midi.
bro. I once bought bud off a dude who kept this shit because this is when we was kids. He kept this shit in a fucking scented candle, hiding the shit from his mom's, and our dumbasses fucking bought that shit and smoked that shit. Crazy, bro.
Young
Shit you do
shit,
when
yeah.
you young.
Right.
I'm telling you. Yo, so let me ask you this, Onaje. The young boys, it's not even the young boys. Niggas out here put grabba in they blunt, which is basically natural tobacco leaf crushed up, dried and crushed up. And they put it in the blunt and they say it's for the spice. Did they do the same thing out there by you?
Nah, not that I know of. It just
Just straight bud,
And
right?
straight
backwoods.
bud.
Yeah, I
They,
mean
they do
backwoods is
yeah,
strong
yeah,
enough.
cats do backwoods,
Yeah,
yeah.
niggas doing
Right.
backwoods. That's same shit.
Yeah, I mean backwoods is a little crazier though, because it's just a whole crazy ass leaf.
You
You
know,
know what I'm
all in all,
saying?
it's because
But
it's
no, all
because
right.
that tobacco hit. It's wherever you got backwoods, right? You rolled up in that, or you had to grab a Fonto leaf. You know what I mean?
Man,
Yeah.
I need a clean joint, man. Niggas be
Right.
out here smoking dirty joints, dirty
Dirty
blunts.
blunts.
Can't do it, bro. Come on, man.
My young boys say life is
Anybody smoke
hard, man. You
bong?
gotta smoke these dirty blunts. Life is hard, man.
Nah.
I mean, the tobacco mixed
Oh
in,
no.
it still seems new. I mean, I know people have been doing it for a long time, but when I do run into people that do that, I actually don't mind it because I don't smoke cigarettes or I don't smoke
Right.
tobacco.
Right.
So I do kind of like the mix of the like that's nice to do once in a while. I don't like it, but when I do, I'm kind of like, okay, I see why you do it, but
I
it's
can agree
not
with
my thing.
that. I can agree with that. Yeah, you know what? But it's got to be done tastefully, man. It can only be a little bit of spice. If you put too much spice in that shit is hot. That's a hot spliff right there. I don't want that.
Mm.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
Word.
I
Shit.
rolled once. I had a young homie with me, and he said, "Yo, this joint is idle." I said, "What the fuck does that mean?"
Oh no.
It ain't
Oh
hitting. It
no.
ain't got enough. It ain't got enough grub in it. Like it's idle.
Oh no.
It's just all right. It's not hitting you there.
That's original. That's original. They ain't have no motherfucking grabber back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Well, no, they probably did have grabber back in the day, but that's besides the point. Like, yo, you put the weed into the paper and then you light that
Son,
shit.
one time I was
You don't
on a
need no
session for
extras.
another younger cat for the same area in the Bronx. He go roll up with the backwood and then put the grab in.
Yeah, nah, I seen that
That's
before.
savage.
Dangerous,
Now that's
treacherous,
savage. Just
treacherous.
smell, smoke a black and mild if you gonna go there.
Word.
Nah, bro.
Word.
Smoke 5 bogeys if you gonna go there at once. We talking about okay. So let me ask you this: what was the weed ratio? Yeah, I know he only put a little bit of weed in there. That shit was
It
probably
wasn't enough. I'll
pitiful.
tell you that, bro. It wasn't
You
enough.
know what I'm
It
saying?
wasn't enough.
Good lord. But yeah, man,
But it
I'm a
ain't for the. I feel
yeah.
like, yeah, I don't know, man. It's for the tobacco. You know, it ain't for the weed at that point.
What about just smoking bogeys then? It's too expensive?
Nah,
You could get loosies though.
nah, I don't think it's that. I think they just like the hit, right? I guess they just like the. And again, listen, I smoke
All
grabber.
right.
I'm not saying like
Nah, yeah, you
I put a little
notorious.
grabber in
You
my joint.
notorious. I wasn't gonna throw you under the bus, but you're
Yeah,
notorious.
oh yeah,
smoking the blunt right now. But that's
yeah,
crazy.
we had that debate the last time we were in the studio. We were having the
Oh
same
my god.
conversation.
Toe no more, but toe no
Listen,
more.
nah. If you've had a drink or two, then it might be appropriate for a tad bit of spice. You know what I'm saying? To cut the alcohol or whatever. But
Nah, bro. Truth be told,
nah,
if your smoke is high grade, right? If your 420 is high grade, right? You got the fire buds,
right.
then you don't really need that shit. Like when I was in Vegas for this little event thing, and it was like 50% THC. Like, wow, this is what. Yeah, this shit was like
50%.
49%, 50% THC, bro. They got some shit.
That's crazy. I never heard of no 50%. I heard of
Nah,
like
bro, this shit was
27%.
49. He's like, yo, 49%. Like, 49 is half. That's fast as half. Yeah, bro. I saw them in person.
That's bugging.
Yeah, they are super grows. I don't know what they doing. They doing it.
All right, fair enough. Oh, Najee, you like movies, man?
Movies?
Yeah, you like a movie buff or maybe not so much?
Nah, not so much. Never been into the movies.
Okay, so what inspires you? Like when you sitting down at the in the lab and you at the boards and all that and you got a blank canvas, what do you reach to for inspiration?
Oh, the old school music, man. Old school rap I grew up listening to.
Okay.
May put some MC Light on, right? Some Stop, Look, Listen.
Mm,
May put some De La in, Tribe in.
right.
And I lock into that chamber, man. I start creating. But like the old greats, man, they really inspired me, man. Q-Tip and Havoc and Diamond
Nah, I
D,
hear
cats
that.
like that. Beat Nuts.
D Nice in them.
Right, D Nice, yeah.
I hear
Yeah.
that. Yo,
TR-808,
man,
So yeah.
I gotta say, R.I.P. to Dave, man, from De
All right.
La Soul. That was crazy.
Yeah, that was crazy when that happened, man.
Unexpected, man. And
Yeah.
let's talk about for a minute the stranglehold that the record companies used to have on artists. Because they don't really have it too much no more. I mean, they the ones cutting the big checks and giving the big bags out, but you don't necessarily need them
I mean,
anymore.
you don't need them to build
Um,
Nah.
like your presence, right? Because you got the internet,
right.
technology. You still, yeah, you needed them to break out. before, right? It was hard to get into the studio because
Right.
shit was analog. It's,
When the shit was
right.
taped. When the shit was
It's
taped. Can you
Right.
recording
imagine
your
that?
phone. It's like it's way more accessible. So I
Right.
wish imagine if Wu-Tang had the internet, right? They had Instagram to promote this shit. It'd be totally different.
You think they would be 10 times what
Yeah,
they were? And they were massive. They're
Most
pretty
definitely.
much could be arguably the biggest, the best hip hop
yeah,
group ever. So you think they'd have been 10
yeah,
times bigger if they had
yeah.
exposure
It'd be
to
like
this?
I don't know if they're considered like the hip hop Beatles, but it'd be Beatles level shit if the internet was able to propagate it. But we needed labels to
Right.
propagate that shit. And it's just so long they're gonna do that for, or just so much they're gonna push this shit for. You know what I mean?
Nah, I agree with that. I agree with
Well,
that.
like on the Wu Tang thing, what's crazy is that going back to what we were saying about like different generations, I think also now if you're an aspiring artist, producer, whatever, you just show up and anybody can pull out their phone and just kind of size you up immediately.
Right.
It's just like,
Mm,
oh, this is your song, this is your visual, this is your artwork. Whereas Wu Tang, I heard the name Wu Tang Clan in school for probably about a week before I finally saw the video,
that's
and
Imagine that.
it
crazy.
was it's yeah, and it's
That's
so
madness, bro.
Build
and
it up.
it's so just caught my attention because my friend would not stop talking about it. He's like the Wu Tang, and it's funny because it's just such a it's an everyday term. Everybody knows who Wu Tang is. Like, but
Right.
back then I was like, what are you talking about? Like, even just the name Wu Tang Clan was so like what I don't even know what to think of. Like, what is this? And then I saw the video, and it was just like, yeah, my mind was blown. So it's kind of a different. It had its build up before I heard them, and I think that's just kind of the. It's a special. I don't know. I kind of. It's strange that like this generation and pretty much everybody now you don't get to experience that process of word of mouth. It's like, oh, check this out. Pull out your phone and you can check it out immediately. It's not. It's
Mhm.
not
Right.
going to be this like thing that builds up in your head and then you finally get to see it and listen to it and judge it whatever. So it's different times. So it's kind of I think that's one thing that's kind of special about music that broke through without the internet. And obviously, a lot of great things came from it, but that's I think what kind of makes a lot of those, De La, all the names that we were just talking about, that made them so special because people would tell you, or you would hear people talking about it, or you would just hear the single and be like, "Wow, I can't wait to get my hands on a copy of this."
Right.
And
And then
now,
you'd have to physically take yourself to the store and get it. You couldn't
yeah,
just have it right here.
yeah. I mean, that was a couple years ago. I got rid of most of my CDs, and I still have milk crates full of my tapes. But I got rid of CDs, and my girl at the time was just like, "You just throw all this stuff out," and I'm like, "You don't understand. Like, I remember the day that I would pull out a CD and be like, I bought this one and this one together on the same. Like, it's just important shit about having the physical copy. So I think it's just probably it does a different thing to your brain now when
Right.
somebody says, "Yo, check this out," and okay, I'll pull out my phone, I'll check it out.
You know what? It's crazy because when you break it down like that, I almost feel bad for the kids who didn't experience that. Like, we got the tail end of that. You know what I'm saying? We were talking about it last week, but like, I got my first two hip hop albums from HMV on 86th Street, CDs. You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
then we kind of segued into this MP3 stuff. Not long after that, we went to MP3s and Napster and LimeWire and then, Apple Music and now where we are today. So it's like I kind of feel for the kids who have no idea about, what it was like to go shopping for a CD or to go into the record store with, I don't know, $20 in your pocket and you don't really have anything in mind that you're going to get, but then you come out with a gem or you might come out with a dub, you know what I'm saying? But like it was it was a crapshoot and it was special. Like you said, I think it had a lot of sentimental value because yeah, I could remember what album was it? I went to Walmart and bought the shit by accident, not knowing that it was the edited version. I had to go somewhere else to get the unedited version. It might have
Man.
been Get Rich or Die Trying. It might have been Get Rich or Die Trying. But the point is that there was a mission behind that album now. You know
Mm.
what I'm saying? So it's always going to mean something to me because I can remember having to make these double trips and conning an adult to get the shit for me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, totally, bro. I can relate to that. But yeah, man, I just think it's pretty sad that, I'm not 100% on what their situation is now. I know that they did see some type of freedom from under Tommy Boy, but De La Soul was in such a crazy fucking contract for like, what, 30 years?
Yeah,
Yeah, that
lifetime.
was a wild, because what held them up was, there's different sides to the story, but it was their management or the record label or whatever the contract was. All those samples were cleared, and this was right after all the Biz Markie stuff happened, when all the sampling stuff started getting cracked down on. They had cleared their samples, but not for future formats. So in their paperwork,
Mm,
as far as I've heard the story, is that it was, yeah, the samples are cleared for release for tape, vinyl, CD. So when streaming happened, they were not covered for those samples. As
damn,
far as I
man.
know, I think that was one of that was like the big holdup, because I remember years ago the group themselves put out a statement saying, don't stream our stuff, and I think that's why it's before everybody kind of converted to streaming, but they were basically saying like, yo, we could get sued all over again by people streaming samples that we cleared for tapes and vinyl, but now it's this new format and we're not covered. So it
Mm.
was, I think their situation was pretty unique, but man, you have a career where you can just sit back and play these classic albums, and they had to stop and
Classics,
be,
man.
yeah, they had to stop and just be like, oh shit, we can't do that, like we're not covered. But I mean, back when they
Right.
were making those albums, you listen to some of those, like Beastie Boys, Paul's Boutique, and like some of
Mm.
that stuff. That is the Wild West. They're just sampling anything and everything.
And just going crazy with it, man.
Yeah.
Nah, yeah, it sucks when, listen, I don't know personally because I almost, thank God, I've never had the opportunity to be signed to a major. I don't really, that's something now at the age that I'm at now, at the point where I'm at now, that I don't even, I used to look forward to that. I used to look towards that. We used to grind for that, for the spotlight of a major label. You know what I'm saying? But
Hmm.
it's like, it's so unnecessary now, and it comes with so much bullshit. And before you know it, like me and DeFi are a duo. We Revenge of the Truants, right? You seen what they did to Outkast. How the
Oh
fuck,
man.
you know what I'm saying? Like, how are we contractually obligated to not record any music together now? Or
Mm.
some
Yeah.
it was something along those lines, right? Like, and we still haven't got an Outkast album, have we?
Yeah.
2023.
Yeah. I think
Like,
Andre 3000 kind of. I did see an interview with him recently where he was just kind of saying he's just not feeling it, because everybody always asks him when's he going to do like a solo thing, and I think, I don't know, he's an eccentric dude. I think he just kind of
I don't
checked
blame
out
him,
on the
man.
hip hop thing. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
that those Hey Ya checks got to be crazy. So
Facts.
Right. When you think about it, bro, nah, yeah, them royalties is
yeah,
hitting nice
that's that
every year.
mailbox money, man.
Nah.
Facts. Yo,
Generational wealth, man.
Yep.
exactly. Exactly, man. You know. Um I had a question. I forgot it.
Oh, I
The
can
smoke.
I can jump in. Actually, I wanted to ask Najee a question. So I was listening to a couple of your projects, and you already answered the first question I was going to have, because I would say the one thing I really appreciated, I could tell even without talking to you, I could hear the drums smacking, and I was like, all right, yeah, this is this is what I'm talking about.
Right.
So I could
Right.
hear, when you said you're from Chicago, I was like, oh, of course, no ID and all that. But what are your thoughts on a lot of the drumless beats that have kind of really gotten popular over the past couple years? I know there's a lot of, as far as like independent underground stuff, like I guess Rock Marciano would be one of the more common names brought up with it, but you're starting to see that leak into, not the last. It was the intro to the Drake album like 2 albums ago, and it kind of
Mm.
had this drumless vibe where they get just a soul sample and there's no drums. How do you feel about
Right.
that?
Well, I mean, that's been around forever, man. I remember, when Wizard was doing that, you know, B Nuts, Street
Yeah,
Love album, so it's been doing that back. I guess I think Rock Marciano, when he came out with a Mockbird, I think that was called. like 2009, 2010, that really just took it to a new height of awareness. Everybody just started doing it.
Yeah,
I remember I was doing it, 'cause I still do it to this day. Sometimes I put drums behind something, sometimes I don't, man. But back when I was doing it when I was younger, I didn't know how to put drums behind the beat, behind the loop. 'Cause I was looping, I wasn't chopping back then. So I'll just leave it, drumless and stuff like that. So I mean, people been doing it for years, man. I mean, years. I mean, hearing this is like in the late '80s, early
yeah,
'90s, man. Some groups and stuff like that. Um, so long as if it's hot, man, it's hot. A lot of stuff Rock done is hot. Nicholas Craven, shout out to him. He does a lot of drumless,
yeah,
stuff
yeah.
like
That's
that. He chops stuff up. So it's about the material they use and how they hook the beat up like anything else to me.
yeah. That's the Nicholas Craven was an example. He was a name I was gonna sort of thinking of too. In that, like, it's crazy. Sometimes I will, just bang my head against the wall trying to, stacking snare drums and kick drums and, trying to make something that has these drums that'll jump out of the speakers. And then I'll put my headphones on and listen to, but like sometimes it'll just be the simplest soul R&B loop. And I will listen to that shit like on repeat.
Right.
And
Right,
I'll be like, yo, I absolutely love this song. And it's something that probably came together, you know what I mean? Like like you said, if it's good, it's good, and that's, I don't know. It's kind of something I go back and forth with. There's times where I'll loop something up, and then I'll catch myself like, yo, why didn't I just stop there? Like, this is already dope.
right. Yeah, it's a vibe. Whatever vibe you on that particular time, man. Maybe sometimes you want to put drums to it. Sometimes you don't. It's about the chamber you in while you doing the beats.
Yeah, it's interesting, man, because I kind of I can appreciate when people have that ear of like, they'll find the loop, and then especially if, when somebody's gonna add vocals to it, it's like, oh, that song was, as soon as you loop that, the song was done as far as the beat itself.
Yeah,
So yeah, that's something I've been trying to sort of lock into, of like, don't overthink it. Sometimes it is really that simple.
word.
I'm gonna take a moment to be a fan and say, yo, I'm happy to see Ransom finally getting his flowers, bro. I've been a fan of Ransom for a long time. And for to see him finally, have a resurgence and people, the younger crowd, really grasp on to this dude. Ransom's a beast, bro. He
Yep.
might be one of the nicest niggas on the East Coast. I'm not gonna lie. So,
He is,
nah,
man.
yeah,
There's
shout out to
he's
Ransom.
That's
and
fancy.
on a tear, man. His recent releases are like, I listened to him quite a bit on a road trip last summer, because I hadn't caught up with like the last two or three projects, and man, I just, yeah, he's something else for sure.
It's good to see him and Joe Buttons, land respectively, like in their places. Because I remember when they was going at it back in the day.
Yeah,
That shit was crazy.
definitely,
Remember that?
definitely remember that time.
Yo, and not to take nothing away from Joe, man. He used to have bars, bro.
He
Let's
did.
not, you know what I'm
He did.
saying? Like,
Got a
Joey
time
used
for
to
sure.
rap, bro. Let me ask you guys this. How do you guys feel about the Lloyd Banks resurgence, man? He's on his third album coming out, Course of the Inevitable Part 3, I believe.
I love it, man. I love it that 20 years later he's
Fact.
still doing. He's
And
still
still
doing it.
got it, still sharp as a knife.
Yeah, yeah, man. It's dope. A lot of people lose by that time, but he been to the pinnacle. He was been up to the top, very top of the food chain with in terms of commercial to what he's doing now, man. So the beautiful journey he going through, man, that we witnessing it. That's a beautiful thing.
Absolutely,
It's
man.
Yeah,
For
it's
real.
dope, and it shows that no matter what, like the amount of time that passes or whatever, like, it's still, people will still check out what you know what I mean. If the quality is there, it's,
Right,
people are going to listen, because like you said, I mean, that, how many, I mean, I'm sure he was platinum. I mean, he came out with, uh I mean, he had Eminem and 50 behind him at the time when they were the biggest things on the planet,
right,
and, had, I mean, I get, I think a lot of those early 2000s, mid 2000s albums where you had some dudes who could really rap, but they would have to kind of force like a real glossy production on them. And I think
Right.
it's
mhm,
Right.
it's cool to hear now that this is actually more his comfort
What was
zone, I
his
think.
joint? Hunger for More? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Hunger for
yeah, Hunger
More,
for
yeah.
More was
yeah,
the first one.
yeah.
If I'm
I feel like that went platinum. I feel like it did.
It had to have. It
You
had.
had to that. He had the machine behind him back
Right.
then.
Yeah. I mean, that was yeah. That had to be what 04 because 50 came out. I mean, 50's debut was 03, and then
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, he was
I'll
just
say this: it was whatever summer Terror Squad dropped Lean Back because I bought both of them albums the day they came out,
yep.
and I believe they came out on the same day. And it's crazy because I listened to both of them albums that day, and they both had the same sample on different tracks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Crazy.
It is interesting too. Like you can kind of now that we have enough distance on that time period, you go back and listen to, like you said, different albums that you bought on that same day, but you can kind of hear like this is what was popping at that time. Like that, you hear the same samples, the same, Triton keyboards here and there, and it's very
Right.
it's very time in a way it's very time stamped, but I mean it's still I don't know. I have a love hate relationship with a lot of the early 2000 stuff, but yeah, Lloyd Banks always always could rap, and I think it's kind of cool to hear him doing his thing on the type of production that I think suits him
Mhm.
really well on
Like
his recent
doing
stuff.
what he wants now.
Yeah,
That makes sense, man. How do you guys feel about Nas and Hit Boy's
I
relationship?
think it's good that he has relationships with younger producers, newer producers, because that proves that you still in your p's
Right.
and q's, right? You can elevate, and I think a lot of artists from that era can dominate this era as well, because you come from having to actually write, right, and have execution and have a certain level of stage mastery, right? Like, and now it's kind of like these guys don't do all that. So if they come into the space now, like look what Method Man's able to do, and these type of guys, Snoop Dogg, these type of guys.
Definitely.
yeah, yeah. No,
Listen,
I love all the recent Nas stuff. I mean, and what I really like actually is I was just listening to on King's Disease 3 where he has the track Reminisce. Are you familiar with that? The Mary J. Blige sample.
Oh yeah.
He
I don't know if I've heard that song yet. I'm gonna be honest with
it's a sample of Reminisce Mary J. Blige, but it's cool like what he's talking about. Like the one line is my comfort gives you discomfort, and he's basically explaining like I'm good. I mean, I'm kind of paraphrasing, but like just the verses kind of come out as like I'm not making Illmatic again. Like I'm
you.
happy. I'm in my late 40s and I'm just doing this. And like he's just letting it be known like I'm not gonna be trapped trying to like it's not my fault I started out with a classic album.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of refreshing to hear because the music's good. You know what I mean? It would be different if he was putting out if he was putting out drill music trying to chase some trend. I think it's just very authentic, and
That's
that's
what
what
you shouldn't do,
makes
right?
it work.
Agreed.
Yeah, it makes it dope, man. That 20 some years later, man, he can still give it. He can still get it out to people, man. He still got that flow. He can still connect to different genres and audience and stuff like that, man. That makes it dope. And with Hit Boy, may not be Illmatic or whatever it was written, man, but it's something dope in his
Right.
discography.
Right.
And for it really the hype around it has been beautiful. I think they had three in already, right? Three
Yep.
albums together.
They got 3 in already, man. That's
Yeah,
Yeah,
crazy.
man.
yeah,
So yeah, I know for
yeah.
like every Christmas or every like Thanksgiving, I think it drops or something like that. I know for like in wintertime, last couple. So yeah, it's a beautiful thing. He can still give it, man. He still give us all into this game.
Nah, that's a fact.
And it's also kind of uncharted territory for a lot of you know A-list MCs that
Mm,
get up there in age and they're still doing it. And it's like hip hop's the one like that doesn't happen in other genres where if you're I mean, I guess it doesn't pop music, but I mean, like in rock and heavy metal, and that, like if
Right. You
you're
can
a
keep going.
legend, you can get older, and all the new generations still love you. Whereas hip hop, it's kind of
right.
it's a strange thing where it's like, oh, this is that '90s stuff. You know what I mean? Like some people just like, why not? Why can't you be, pushing 50, still rapping better than ever?
Yeah.
One of them rappers with little in his name said that Tupac was boring. I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Huh.
And it's like, oh man, I could see how. You know what? I never thought he was boring, bro. Even as a kid, I never thought he was boring. So I can't even really defend that point. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, everybody's still talking about him. He's been
Yeah, he's been gone a while,
he's
man.
been going longer than he was alive, and people are still talking about him. So
Yeah.
That's fucking bugged out.
Crazy.
But yo, let me ask you guys this. Do you think Eminem is overcompensating?
Yeah.
I gotta ask the question because it's like, okay, he's a legend, he's solidified, but every album that we've gotten for the last 5 years has been just like, to me, it's gibberish. To other people, it's the best scripture ever written. You know what I'm saying? Like, I argue with coworkers about this, so I gotta
So
ask you guys. I feel like he's rapping like he has something to prove, and there's nothing to prove. I guess that's my most direct point. Does anybody else feel like that after his last 3 efforts?
Man, I quite honestly, I haven't heard anything from in a while.
Right.
I just know he had a status right, at a different status right now. Maybe he's maybe bored with the game. He got to get it all. He awards, accolades, props, all that. And so maybe just something just to do to pass the time. I don't think it's all. I don't think he put his all into it like he was when he first came in the game, though.
There you go.
Obviously it's not. He got other things he have to do, other things that needs his attention, I'm assuming, and businesses he have to run and stuff like that. So it's a different time for him.
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely.
what's puzzling to me is what a fan of, like, that dude is an absolute encyclopedia of hip hop. I don't know. Did you guys see his Rock and Roll Hall of Fame speech?
No.
No, but you know what? You're right. If anybody, yo, it's crazy. He does know a lot. He does know a
Yeah,
lot.
his Hall of Fame speech was great because he was like, I'm going to make a list. And he was very, like, from the heart. He was like, I'm going to make a list of all the artists that I want to thank. And he's up there for like damn near 10 minutes. I mean, he ran down everybody, like just name a classic hip hop artist. He said their name. And um, I do like, I will check out his stuff. But yeah, the last however many, I've lost count, however many releases, I'm just kind of like, man, I don't like it would almost be refreshing if he because for me, I'm always listening to the production too. But yeah, he is kind of he does the rapidy rap thing a lot, and it kind of, I think, gets away from just making a good song. But then of course,
Right.
call up Rihanna and you make another pop hit that takes over. So who knows, man? That's a different level of fame where the expectations are just
Right.
that's got to
Right.
be some wild shit.
But you know what my thing is? Listen, I'm not taking nothing away from him because he's done what he's done. Um, to be such a student of the game and to have dropped so many crazy, just dense, you know what I'm saying, like thought provoking albums, you gotta know that the last shit you've been pumping out, like, you just let that go. That sound like you just went in there and you was fucking around, and you know what I'm saying. And listen, I'm not saying you got to take music 100% serious every time, but it's like, for me, I'm a fan of what I know he's capable of, you know? And it's like, it just seems to me like, I don't know, he's been overcompensating for a while, in my opinion, in my humble opinion. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Well, I remember when I think it was Encore, he was like 4 albums in, and he even said straight up, I might be messing up the order of the albums, but he even just blatantly said, like, this is the formula. Like, I put out this wacky, radio friendly, kind of gimmicky single, and that just, it works. Like, everybody just took it and ran with it. Like when he did the real, what was it, Real Slim Shady, like the second album.
Oh, no,
I mean,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's crazy. Like that was the most, that was the highest selling solo at the time. I think Adele eventually broke the record, but that was like the biggest debut ever
Of
for
all
a
time,
solo
right?
artist. So yeah, I think
That's
once
crazy.
you reach that level, I mean, good luck trying to get back to the hunger of, you know what I mean? Like, oh, I just hope I get signed. That's
Right. So let's talk about Royce 5'9" for a minute, man. How y'all feel about Royce? I fuck with Royce personally. Personally, I fuck with Royce. How y'all feel about Royce?
I always fuck with
Crickets.
Royce.
Damn, Royce. Crickets, my boy.
Hey, he decent though. Oh,
Right,
he a
right.
decent MC.
Nah, yeah, I hear you, bro.
He boy.
Right, right. Yes, I get where you going with that. I get where you going with that.
Yeah, he had some moments in the game like boom and stuff like that.
Right, bro.
Yeah, I like the prime albums. I mean, I'm biased. Anything Premier is on, I'll always like. But yeah, Royce he had an interesting. kind of career too. He was on the come up, and then kind of got like, I don't want to say shadow, but like obviously he was with Eminem, and that kind of a weird position to be in, where you're a marquee MC, and then all of a sudden this guy,
Motherfucker opener now.
yeah, your boy
Yeah.
becomes the biggest, not just the biggest rap star, the biggest pop star. But yeah, I think he's pretty universally respected.
It's pretty old now. Have you any of you checked out Smoke DZA and Pete Rock? Don't Smoke Rock.
It's solid.
Yeah, that was
I
pretty good.
fuck with that
Solid.
shit. It was good, right? I liked
Good
it.
project.
There's a track on there, "Hold the Drums," where he's
Yup.
just saying, "Yo, the sample's so ill. Hold the drums. No drums."
Fire, bro. Nah, yeah. Shout to Smoke, man. He's been a staple in the town for a long time, man. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
I call
saying?
him.
So, did you guys see that the NBA has now made it so that players will not get in trouble for smoking bud,
I mean, shit. If the police can smoke
Oh,
weed on the
about
job,
time.
right?
right? And they not testing them no more. So
Because
I think
obviously,
that's
it's like
good.
anything else,
I
right? It's like
think
if you tell
that's
your
good.
kids they can't, they gonna go outside and do it. So, well, if you tell your players they can't, they gonna find ways to get in trouble. So maybe that'll kind of diminish the return on that. Like, all right, these guys aren't getting in trouble. Finding, you know what I mean? The
Yeah.
higher them.
Yeah, Charles Oakley said that back in the day. He was like, if they really, really tested for, if they really were going to suspend you or kick you out of the NBA for smoking weed, he said there would be no NBA.
That's a fact.
Well, yeah, listen, we've been at it for like an hour and 32 minutes. We're going to do some closing out. Onaje, man, listen, bro, thank you so much for stopping by, man. It really means a lot. I really appreciate your input and, everything that you bring to the underground and everything that, you've done for me personally, because me and you have been on some tracks as well. We
Oh,
still got to get an album in. We still got to get a whole project in, but we'll talk about that later. You know what I'm saying? But nah, yeah, I just really wanted to get you on here, give you your flowers, man, let you know we appreciate you. And, you are a much needed staple. You know what I'm saying? For pushing the culture forward. Let
definitely
the
appreciate
people
it, brother.
know. All good, my brother. All good, man. And you always welcome, bro. You always welcome. Let the people know where they can find you, man.
Hey, you go. I know people say it all the time, but you can Google me, man. I'm Onaje Jordan. Get all
Facts.
my information from the internet. My Spotify, my Twitter, Instagram, Onaje Jordan Beats. Onaje Jordan Beats dot Bandcamp one. That's my Bandcamp. You want to go get support on that level? Listen to some projects that I've done, or
Facts.
beats I did, or beat tapes I did in the past. It's on my Bandcamp page, Onaje Jordan Beats. So I'm just like that, man. Just catch me anywhere, really, man. Anywhere.
Perfect. Perfect. You have any upcoming projects you want to let anybody know about, or you kind of keeping those close to the chest?
Well, we still working on. Like saying, me and New Villain got something coming out soon. What a mess.
Got you.
Me
Shout
and
out Mess. That's
Killy.
my guy. That's my dog.
Yeah, so we got stuff brewing right now. We in the recording process of many of them. So whatever
Perfect.
one gets ready first, this one we're gonna be dropping next.
I hear that, man. That's a beautiful thing, man. That's a beautiful thing. But yeah, man, once again, thank you so much, bro. And yeah, man, popular to contrary belief, life is not lived in the black and white. It's often lived in the gray area. I am MOD, Mugs on Drugs. One of the three legs of the tripod. It's the gray